card from the recycling. That's fine. Just need to get a pencil. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit of work based on, Jasper Johns. I'm going to just do, and I want to make it as big as I possibly, I don't want it tiny. Doesn't need to be huge. I'm just drawing out a letter, and for some reason I've decided to go with the letter R. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my letter R. And this is to link with your final piece. All right, so this shows your work in the style of Jasper Johns, supporting the work for your final piece. I'm in the process of this morning. I've been mounting work and marking work. Some of you have still got a lot of unfinished work in there. I am only capable of marking what is there. So, oh, that reminds me. Just someone. To join. So I'm cutting my R right now. I've got a hole in the middle of an R. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a pen, put it through. That way I can stick these through and I can cut it out. Now it needs to be cut out fairly carefully. You can take a lot more time. I'm trying to do this as a quick demonstration. But what's important is we get a template of a letter. You might decide to do an S or something. Don't do an I, because an I is really boring and you're going to get fed up. What you're then going to do is you are going to get the letter R and you're going to get a pencil and you're lightly going to draw around the letter R, going over the edge of the paper. I don't want to see everything sitting in the middle. All right. As with your collage went off the edge. You don't want this just to sit in the middle. All right, so I'm going to do a letter R there. And I don't want them all going the same way. If you wanted to do more than one letter, feel free. If you wanted to do a word, you could do. I've just gone for the simple option for my demonstration of just picking one letter. So I've done my letter R. I'm repeating it so I know it's off the edge of my page. Oops. Okay, then once I've got most of my space covered, I'm then going to use my R and overlap. Now when I see the bits that are poking out, I don't want tiny little bits, right, because that makes it harder later. So try not to get really tiny little bits. And don't forget, if you've got a letter like this, you need to do the centre part as well. So there, I'm looking here where it dissects there to decide where I'm going to put it so that I don't end up with a minuscule bit. You can't always avoid it, but if you can, it just makes it easier later. I'm just going to stick a bit of this one here. Maybe just some legs over this bit. Then what I would do, so I'm looking there. What I would do then is, I personally, if I was going to do it and I've got it at home, I would use the media that you used in your final piece. All right, so if you've got pencil crayons and you did your final piece in pencil crayons, I would do this in pencil crayons. If you haven't, if you've got if you did it in pencil, I would do it in pencil. Again, biro, do it in biro. But that's only Lauren, I think, if I remember rightly. So you can see my page suddenly becomes a whole load of new shapes, just like it did in the exam. Instead of becoming a load of R's, they then just become a whole load of new shapes. Okay. So I get my letter. Take that off. I'm just going to do the bottom because the bottom's a bit too plain. The small, you don't really want huge big areas because it doesn't look so good. It looks like you've just placed a couple of R's here, there and everywhere instead of actually thought about the breaking up of the space. We don't want it to look like R's at the end. Okay, so I've done my page, I've filled it with my letter. Then I'm going to get my media, and in the same way you did with your exam. So for example, if I am doing primary colours, I'm going to pick a space to start. And I'm going to add primary colours. Now, if you haven't got the media that you did in your exam, then you're going to need to use a different media. All right. So you'll need to use a different media. I will need to see those pencil crayon skills or those pencil skills. It's not a colouring in exercise. This really needs to show how we've developed from the Jasper Johns work that you did yesterday, the research. You've developed a final piece, all right, based on his work. So that's what you need to be doing. Okay. Just seeing, I did have some examples somewhere. Yes, we are going to finish your final piece when we get back. Right, if you've got the media that you used in the exam, then you use it here. If you haven't got the media, you're going to need to use something else. So, here is what I did. It's a different thing. It's not letters, but this is using pencil, obviously using different tones. Pencil, crayon, think about your colour scheme. All right. So, recap. One letter out of some thin card rubbish that you've got in your recycling. You draw out your letter. Doesn't need to be massive, by the way. This is only A5. If you haven't got a piece of paper to do it on that's good quality, then that's, I knew there was something I got. What I have got here is an envelope. It would be better done on a rectangle of this than it would on a really thin, cheap piece of paper. All right. So if I wanted to dismantle this and draw a box square, it's better done on that. So can be more than one letter if you want. Out. Place them all. Down the page, then overlap them. Okay, when you've done that, you then go on to add your colour. Does everyone understand what we're doing? Yes? No? Yep. Okay, can we give me thumbs up if we all understand? Adam's okay. Nazifa said yes. Aaron? Jamia? Charlotte? Yeah, good. Aaron? Charlotte? Okay, so you can go off and do it. I don't want to waste any more of your time. You can go and do practical work. Okay, because I'm in the process of marking and mounting all your sketchbooks. You will get, when we come back on that Wednesday, what I'm going to do is, instead of you being in D block, I'm going to actually get you to all come up here to E block so that we can get your last 45 minutes on your exam done. Okay, that's my plan on the Wednesday of our lesson. All right, it's just during our lesson time. Okay, any more questions? Have a good afternoon. Can you, if I put this on class charts, can you upload me the work, please? And some of you still need to upload me yesterday's work. Some of you I've got, and please go on and read the comments. Okay. Aaron, stay on. The others can go off. Aaron, you missed the start. Okay, the others, off you go. Get on to the practical work. Yes, I was doing it quickly. Right, let me just stop the recording.